welcome to the Millennial Monologues podcast, where we talk about anything and everything relating to the millennial lifestyle. We are your hostesses with the mostesses. My name is Alyssa.
And my name is Lexi. Thanks, guys, for watching.
Yes, thank you.
Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Sorry, I just had a drink of this boba, and I'm just like still chewing on it.
Winded? Okay, I'll go. So anyways, today we are going to be talking about bridesmaids, do's and don'ts. So the reason why we chose this topic for today is because obviously us as millennials, lots of us are getting married nowadays, and lots of us are participating in these ceremonies
called weddings.
What do you do when you're a bridesmaid? Some people, will be a bridesmaid for the first time and have no idea what's going on. So naturally, we're just going to talk a little bit about some etiquette and some bridesmaid fails.
So instead of just Googling, what should I do as a bridesmaid, just watch our podcast today and you'll figure it out of what you should and shouldn't do.
There you go. So we're also going to talk about some groomsmen stuff too, which obviously you would think it would go hand in hand, but in reality, there are some different responsibilities that go with the boys and the girls. So we're going to talk about all of that this episode. So Lexi, why don't you start us off with something that a groomsman should not do?
All right, so I think for groomsmen, well, your number one thing to do is just be there for your best friend. So I think the main thing that you should not do is make it all about you.
Right.
So that's just kind of like drinking too much and getting too drunk. And I guess that could be for girls too, but a lot of the times the guys will take like shots beforehand and like kind of like a celebratory thing like in the groom's room. And more often than not, I always see guys start like getting too drunk before the ceremony even starts, even before the reception.
Yikes.
So I think the biggest don't for guys, I would say, just to keep in mind, is have a clear head and know that you're there for him, and everything that you're doing that day revolves around the couple and your best friend. So you shouldn't be doing anything that could compromise that. One main thing that I thought of that I see a lot at weddings is the best man always gives a really, really, really long speech, and it drags out, and he always thinks that everyone thinks he's funny, which I'm sure you are. Like, a lot of the times they are funny, but let's face it, not everybody thinks that you're funny. So whenever your speech hits the 5-minute mark, I would say cut it off.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Sometimes the dads give like 5-minute speeches, and I think that's okay, because if you're paying for the wedding, you should be able to give as long of a speech as you want.
Amen.
But if you're the best man and you're just telling stories about when you were in high school, and they're funny stories to you guys, but they're not that funny to the whole audience, and everyone, you hear the audience start talking more, I think that's when you should just end it. So I think for the best man for your speech, keep it short, sweet, and simple, at most 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah, that's good.
And never make it about you, like, oh, like we did this. Like, make it about the couple and good things about them, your well wishes to them. Never say anything compromising or bad about the groom or something that would embarrass him, that would make the bride embarrassed for being married to him. I would say, because I've seen so many best man speeches and a lot of them make me cringe. So just keep it short, sweet, and simple. You can make it funny, add in a couple jokes, but leave it at that, because honestly, nobody really wants to hear the speeches. Usually people are talking.
Yeah.
So
they want to get back to the meal, or they want to start dancing or something.
So I think that's the biggest like fail that guys have at weddings, is the best man gives it too long of a speech, the groomsmen are wasted, and those are some embarrassing things that reflect on the bride and groom that the other family, aunts and uncles, see, and it becomes embarrassing for them.
Yeah, absolutely. And the reason why, by the way, Lexi has this insight is because, for those of you who don't know, who watch our show, she's actually a professional wedding photographer. So she's been to, countless weddings. Yeah. Countless. So that's really good advice. Thanks for that. That was good. For me, I'm married, so I've been through a wedding before. That was the only wedding I've actually been to, though, is my own.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, besides my mom's, back when I was 4.
But you've never been like a friend's wedding?
I've never been to a friend's wedding. Actually, I've been to one. I've been to one as a guest. and that's it, and then mine. But you know, I was definitely the guinea pig. I was the first out of all my friends to get married.
Oh, gotcha.
So there were lots of things, well, not lots of things, but there were definitely things that I maybe would have done differently. I probably would have given myself more time to plan it, to be honest, because we had the whole thing ready to go in 10 months, and my mom kept telling me, that's not enough time, but I was like, yeah, it is, because we really wanted the date that we wanted. But yeah, it was pretty stressful. I think the biggest thing for bridesmaids is to be prepared and be aware of the time that you're going to need to spend and the money that you're going to need to spend. It's definitely a time and financial commitment when you say yes. So my biggest thing is, if someone asks you to be a part of their wedding and you know that you're not financially ready for that kind of commitment, it's okay to say no. To me personally, I would have rather had somebody tell me no than not participate in things, you know?
Yeah.
I'll say this. I started with 10 bridesmaids. I ended up with 8 by the time the wedding came around. So, you know, there's lots of stress that's involved in wedding planning, obviously. People kept telling me, it's like a full-time job, like it's crazy. And I was like, y'all are just being dramatic. Full-time job? Yeah, right. Okay, it really was like a full-time job. Like, I talked about it and thought about it every single day of those 10 months. And it was crazy. And it also didn't help that only 3 of my 8 bridesmaids lived around me. So it was a lot of like long distance planning, a lot of traveling for my girls to try to come to all my events. And it was definitely took a toll on like, you know, my schedule, like trying to plan everything around people being able to go, you know. So yeah, it was pretty stressful. But yeah, again, I think that you need to be aware of the financial responsibility and the time commitment that goes into being a bridesmaid. Just say no if you know that you're not ready for that kind of thing, because it's not about you anyway, you know.
Right.
Don't say yes just because you want to like be in the picture, you know.
Right.
Say yes because
you can still take
understand.
pictures on the wedding day.
Yeah. Say yes because you understand the time commitment and the financial commitment that comes with being a bridesmaid, because you're gonna have to participate in the events and you're gonna have to participate in, again, the financial aspect.
Right.
So.
And the things that Alyssa's talking about are the bridal showers. And you're not just going to have one bridal shower. Sometimes there's multiple. There's a co-ed one.
Yep.
Sometimes there's just one for the girl. If there's one for the guy, then obviously the girls don't have to go. And then you have the bachelorette party. That's something you have to plan. Not only that, the bride's not going to want to be buying her own stuff. She's not going to buy her own like streamers and obviously presents and cake and like where to go. So that's all stuff that you have to plan yourself. Not only that, but the DIY decorations for the wedding.
Yep.
People our age are now more leaning towards like the burlap and the handmade invitations or the nameplates on the reception tables, the cards, the I don't know, there's just like so many things that bridesmaids have to do that they don't think about.
Oh yeah, there's so many things that they don't think about. Like, you think whenever you get asked to be a bridesmaid that you're only going to be responsible for your dress, a shower, and the bachelorette party in the actual day.
Yeah.
But in reality, there are so many little details that go into it that you don't even think about. Like, you don't even think about the invitations. You don't think about the nameplates, like you said, all the decorations. You don't think about any of that kind of stuff, like, until you're actually in it. You know, you think about the wedding dress, the bridesmaid's dress, and the bachelorette party. Those are the immediate 3, I think, that people think about automatically.
Meeting with vendors. Sometimes the groom can't come to meet with certain vendors. So when I have girls, brides come and talk with me to see if we're a good fit, and we have like an interview with each other, I would say 80 to 90% of the time, if the groom's not there with the bride, it's her maid of honor, or it's her and 3 bridesmaids, because they also want to see if I'm a good fit too. So not only am I being judged by the bride, but her friends are all there, like taking notes about me too. So if I'm in the clear with her and her friends, it's a big deal. It's a good thing. So you are going to want to probably go to see every vendor with her too, which it seems like a commitment and a lot of work, but that's what you signed up for when you say, yes, I'll be your bridesmaid.
Right.
So it's not just going to all the fun things, it's also making those time commitments and money too. Sometimes you'll have to pay for things that, like even dresses, sometimes you have to pay for a dress that you don't want to pay for.
Right.
And unlike guys, you can't rent your dress, like they have to rent their tuxes.
But you can.
Oh, you can?
So that's what my bridesmaids and I did. So there's this website. It's called vowtobechic.com, okay? And it looked a little like, it didn't look sketchy at first, but it was definitely one of those things that I was like, I wonder if this could actually work.
Not sponsored.
We're not sponsored by them. So
it's a little sketchy at first.
No, I was curious about the process. Because I was like, to be honest with you, Contrary to most beliefs, I was actually a very chill bride, which is weird to me because I'm a psycho at everything else. But I was a very chill bride. Like, I did not want my bridesmaids to spend a lot of money because I knew kind of like their situations, and I knew my situation too, you know, and I was like, I wouldn't want to be kind of stuck spending thousands of dollars on somebody else's wedding right now, you know, because everyone was like just getting out of school, doing their first jobs, and no one gets paid $1 million on their first job, right? So I was kind of in that position where I was like, okay, you know, no matter where we go for the bachelorette party, I'm going to find a deal for us. No matter what we do, you know, for this, I'm going to find a deal. I'm going to register for like cheap things for my friends and then expensive things for my family, you know. So
I'm going to cut you off for a second. Yeah. Did you tell them like what they need to expect to buy and things that you were going to buy, or like were you upfront it with them?
Kind of. Like, I told them straight up, like, if y'all feel uncomfortable paying for any of this stuff that I'm telling you guys to pay for, let me know, because I don't want to put y'all in a bind, you know?
Yeah.
And I'll get to more details about that later because I didn't have a lot of people show up to my bachelorette party. But as far as the dresses go, we went shopping like a little bit whenever we went shopping for my dress, because we had made appointments to go shopping for my dress, and I found my dress at the second place. So I was like, well, I don't want these other places to charge me for not going to the appointment, because they will do that. Like, if you make an appointment to go dress shopping, they'll charge you if you don't go. So I was like, well, let's just go to these dress places and we'll look at dresses for the bridesmaids, because some of my bridesmaids had come to go dress shopping with me. So we're going to the places, we're trying on dresses. They're all really expensive. They're not even that cute. I just wanted to get like a color scheme in mind. Mm-hmm. So I was like, you know, I wonder if there's like an easier way. And one of my friends who was in a wedding a few months before was like, hey, we actually rented our dresses from this online place. And I was like, interesting. So we go online and I look at all the color schemes and I was like, okay, wow, like this could definitely work. And I was one of those brides, I didn't care if all my bridesmaids wore the same dress. I just wanted the same like color.
I like that idea.
Yeah, and it looked really good. I'll put like, we actually just posted a picture on our Instagram of my wedding with my bridesmaids. It's kind of a funny picture because everyone's jumping, but you'll see the color scheme and I'll post another one. But it looked really nice. But anyways, so we go online and I'm like, okay, a lot of these dresses they'll have in store somewhere. So let's go to the stores, we'll try on the dresses, figure out which one we like, and then we can order them online to rent. So we went on the website. We had to send our measurements in. So you have to go get measured somewhere at like an actual dress store. So like a David's Bridal or somewhere like wherever I got my dress, you know, we just had them take measurements for the girls there. So you send in your measurements, you send in what dress you want, and they send you 2 to 3 different sizes depending on your measurements. And then whenever you get them, you try them on, you wear the one that fits, and you send it back. So it's a really easy process, and it was amazing. And
what is this website called?
It's called vowtobechic.com. So
vowtobechic.com.
Vow to be chic, yeah, CHIC, yeah. Okay. So it was a really easy process, and you get to actually, as the bride, I don't know if everyone else talked to this girl, but I got to talk to somebody specifically, you know, on the phone, and I was like, this is the kind of the color scheme I'm looking for. I'm looking for like nudes. I do want some people to have sparkly dresses just to, you know, sprinkle in there. Again, I had 8 bridesmaids, so, well, I started with 10, but I ended up having 8. So I had a lot. So I was like, I want like 3 or 4 of them to have like sparkly dresses, and then the rest have just like, you know, a nude color. Mm-hmm. And the lady was like, okay, I got it. So she put together this like picture collage of all the different dresses and styles and colors that they had and sent it to us. So I sent it to my girls, and I was like, pick a dress out of these and send it in. So that we got the dresses in the mail. Everyone tried them on. There were no issues with fitting, because they send you multiple sizes. So there was no issues with fitting. They put them on. They wore the one whichever fit best, and they sent the rest back like after the wedding.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. It was such a good experience too. My customer service girl, I guess, was the manager. I guess like she does some customer service too. Mm-hmm. But I told her, I was like, can I talk to your manager, because you're amazing. I'm gonna give you an awesome compliment. She was like, I am the manager. I was like, ah, crap. But she was just so awesome. Like, she was so helpful, and the process was really easy, and I was really nervous for it, but I shouldn't have been, because everything worked out really nicely for that. Yeah. So again, I had 10 and I ended up with 8. So the first one that got cut.
Booted?
Yeah. Well, it shouldn't really get booted. We had a fight that had nothing to do with our wedding, and then we stopped being friends, and so therefore got booted. But the other one I booted because she didn't show up to any events. And I'm going to talk about that too. But she actually had already gotten her dress. So she's like, well, what do you want me to do with my dress then? And I was like, ooh, like, let me call the lady and ask. And she was like, hey, this happens all the time. Just have her send it back. It's no big deal. I'll refund her card. How easy is that?
Yeah,
Like, that was
that's
so
great.
nice. So that website was the best. So you definitely can rent your dresses, and it is a cheaper option. And honestly, you're never going to wear your bridesmaid dress again anyway. So
Yeah.
I definitely encourage all brides to use that website.
Brides are always saying, oh my God, aren't these dresses cute? Because they're long and then they can be hemmed and be short and they can
There's
wear them
the website
again.
there if anyone's watching.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
Oh, what happened?
It seems that this particular bridal rental shop has closed. How to be chic.
Oh my gosh.
It looks like it has closed.
Wow,
Their
whoops. Sorry,
website is
everybody.
not working. So
Oh no.
sorry to
Well,
say.
sorry everybody. I'm sure that there are other options.
There are so
though,
many
for
options
that.
to rent.
Yeah, I'm sure that there are, but that website, that really, wow, I'm sad because I just totally talked them up for no reason. Whoops. But they did a really good job. I'm sad that they closed. They
Yeah.
probably just people didn't know about them or something.
But you're usually, like, you're not going to wear your dress again. Brides are always saying, like, oh my God, like, they're long, but then they can be hemmed to be short, and, like, you can wear these again. They
You
never
can't.
wear them again,
Never.
ever. Nobody ever wears their bridesmaid's dress. So I think renting, I didn't even know you could rent, but renting is definitely the best option.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I had no idea, but man,
I was trying to
that's
be
so smart.
considerate to my bridesmaids,
Yeah,
like,
that
from a
really
financial
is.
standpoint.
Especially the fact that you gave them a choice.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen so many bridesmaids complain, and it's funny because all day I'm working behind the scenes, so I talk to the bridesmaids, I become friends with them, I get to know them, and most of the time they're just like I hate this dress, it's so ugly, or it doesn't fit me right, and I'm never gonna wear this again. And one girl, she ended up getting a boob job, and she didn't fit in her dress anymore.
Okay, well, that
And
was her
so
own fault,
That's kind of
honestly.
a bridesmaids don't, but I didn't know how
That's
to
a
fit that in
fail.
here. Like, don't buy your dress and then get
get resized.
boobs that are 2 times the size they originally were.
Yeah, that doesn't
So
make any
the day
sense.
of, they had to push back the ceremony a little bit because she could not fit into her dress, and we had like 5 girls like lifting it up, like trying. They had to like undo the zipper and like re-sew it on her so it could fit on her the day of. So
I would have been panicking as the bride. I would have been panicking
Yeah.
so hard. That's actually a good segue into like the emotional side of being a bridesmaid. Like, you definitely have to be calm and collected and supportive of all decisions that the bride makes, okay?
Yeah.
Even if you think, oh my God, these invitations are so ugly. If the bride loves them, don't say a word. Keep your mouth
Yeah.
shut. It's not about you. You know what I mean? Just keep your mouth shut and be supportive of whatever the bride wants to do, okay? Not everybody has the same taste. That's
Yeah.
it. Luckily for me, hopefully, all my brides liked my dress. See, and that's another thing. If the bride loves her dress, but it's not technically like your style, what you might go for, who cares? The bride obviously loves it. She's crying in the mirror. You got to be supportive of those things.
also, if she gets everyone, like all the girls, matching necklaces and matching bracelets, even if you have a signature necklace that you always wear that you never take off, girl,
Your
you gotta
boyfriend
take
got
that
it
off.
for you.
You gotta
Yeah.
take it off because that one day is not your day.
It's not.
Oh my God, there's so many times like it just happens all the time. Everybody I go to, it's like same thing, different people. They have to wear like the same necklace or the same bracelet, and sometimes people don't want to wear it. It's an ugly necklace, or it just doesn't go, or my nails are gold and it's silver and it doesn't look bad. Like, who cares?
Yeah,
you gotta
it's
do
not
it.
about you.
You gotta
So,
do it.
I have a list from mydomain.com of bridesmaids do's and don'ts. So I'm gonna read it and we can discuss each thing and see if we agree.
Okay.
So the first one is don't say yes if you're not invested. So that's true.
Absolutely.
We already kind of talked about that part, but I also know of a girl who said yes to be a bridesmaid to somebody that she didn't really know very well, just because she felt bad that other girl like didn't have a whole lot of like girlfriends.
Yeah.
And that one to me is kind of tricky because, you know, yeah, you feel bad for the girl because maybe like the fiance has all these people and she only has 5, you know, and she just kind of needed some filler people.
Yeah.
It happens for guys and girls all the time. Maybe someone just has more friends than the other one or whatever. But you know, do
What
you really
would
want
you
to
do?
be? I think I would say no. And I know
Really?
this sounds rude, yeah, but it's like I don't want to spend my time and energy
That's
and
true.
money into somebody that I'm not like friends with, you know?
Uh-huh.
But like
I think it depends on where I would be financially.
Yeah.
And also how maybe, even if we're not close, how nice she is to me. Because if she seems like a very nice person that's easygoing and it's like, listen, like, I don't have many friends, but I need 5 bridesmaids and I only have 3, and I like need you. And I was in a good financial situation, I definitely would.
Yeah, I mean, if she brings it up like that, then you kind of have to say yes. But if she just says, hey, will you be a bridesmaid? Like, and you like never hang out, you know, and you just kind of know her from work and you're like, oh, maybe. You know, it's like,
right.
I feel like, I mean, an appropriate way to say no would be something like, actually, like, I'm really sorry to let you down. Like, I'll be there as a guest.
I wonder how common that is.
Financially, it's just not a good idea for me right now. Like, you know, I mean, that's all you have to say. You know, you don't have to be rude about it. Like, we don't know each other well. Like, no, you don't have to say anything like that. But just maybe like, financially, it wouldn't be the smart move for me to do right now. Of course, I'll come to your wedding as a guest. Like, I'll be there to support you. I'll get you guys a gift, you know, but financially, it's just not going to be right for me right now, you know? I think that's totally fine. That's totally normal.
Yeah.
So that's
always okay to say no.
It's okay to say no. I would have rather someone said no to me than to not go to anything.
Yeah, and not be upfront with you about their budget.
Yeah, because I did have a bridesmaid where, you know, I had kind of asked her, and she was kind of one of those people, like, it was like the domino effect for me. Like, oh, well, if I ask her, then I have to ask her, then I have to ask her.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And I kind of wish I didn't, just because, I mean, we were close, but we weren't that close, you know? And I ended up having to kind of be like, hey, I don't think you should be in my wedding anymore because you haven't come to anything. Like, there were, I think I counted like 11 events that she just didn't come to. Like,
you had 11 events?
Yeah, because there was my bridesmaid dress shopping. There was my dress shopping.
I forgot about, like,
there was the showers. We had a bridesmaid luncheon. I mean, we had all these events, and she did live like 5 hours away. So at first, I was giving her the benefit of the doubt. There was the bachelorette party. I mean, there was everything.
But she didn't go to a single one?
Not a single one. So I was like, okay, like, you know, what's the point? You know, are you even gonna come like to the wedding? You know, so I was like, so I eventually just had to be like, hey, like, I don't think you should be in it anymore. I'm sorry. And I really, really, really did feel bad. But I was like, I don't really know, like, what the point would be anymore, like, for you to stand next to me when you haven't been here, you know? So it was pretty awkward, but oh well.
So what about Ashley being your, like, maid of honor?
Okay, so my maid of honor was my little sister, okay? She was 18. So she had no idea what to do at all.
Because I think that's an important thing to bring up.
This is an important thing to bring up.
I have 4 sisters, so for me, when it comes to a maid of honor and bridesmaids, when I have to choose a maid of honor, obviously I'm going to go to my sisters first, but then also, like, I have, like, a group of friends, so it's like, I don't want to have, like, 20, you know, bridesmaids, and, you know, I have sisters to choose a maid of honor, so for you, it was an easy decision to make your sister the maid of honor, but she was also 18.
Yeah, because, okay, so I didn't go back and forth between picking her, but I definitely was like, to be honest with you, it's going to be easier if she's the maid of honor, because I actually had 3 friends kind of vying for that position. Like, they were like,
so it was easy
it would be me if you didn't have a sister. I had like 3 people saying that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I genuinely don't know who I would pick if I didn't have a sister, because I did have 2 of the 3 who I was considering. That third one, we're actually not even friends anymore. She was one of the people that, you know, it wasn't and didn't end up being in it. But 2 of them, I was really like, I genuinely don't know who I would pick if I didn't have a sister. So that made that easier, because I didn't have to have that tough conversation with, you know, one of the other 2. Like, hey, I picked the other one, you know. So that actually worked out for me. But having an 18-year-old be my maid of honor was it was not easy, because I really had to do a lot of the planning myself.
Especially for Vegas, I bet.
Yeah, for Vegas. Well, sort of. I did have the other 2 were really good backups, because they really did help me out, but they both, again, didn't live here. So it was really difficult, like, not having them, like, just, you know, a 10-minute drive away to be able to sit down, look at everything, and figure it out. Also, our work hours were crazy, because we were doing the grunge work at our jobs, so our hours were just all over the place. And, you know, it was just one of those things, like, I wish I had an older maid of honor who was near me, you know, to help me plan stuff, because I really did do a lot of the planning by myself. My mom and my mother-in-law were great with the planning. They helped me out so much. Like, you have no idea. Like, God, they pulled me out of stress holes so many times. But having a maid of honor that young was incredibly difficult. And I tell her all the time, you were the worst maid of honor ever. And she knows. She just laughs about it now, because now it's funny because everything worked out and was smooth and fine. But it was really stressful having somebody not old enough to do anything. She couldn't come to the bachelorette party because she wasn't old enough. She had no idea who to call vendors-wise. She had no idea what to do. She'd never been part of a wedding before. And, you know, neither had I, obviously. So it was just all sorts of stress having someone that young be your maid of honor. If I were you, out of all your sisters, I would pick the oldest one just for experience purposes only.
Yeah.
Because it was insane. So let's get back to this list really quick because we kind of went on a tangent. So don't say yes if you're not invested was the first one. That's so true. Now, this next one is do be prepared to spend money. And that's so true.
Yeah.
Like Lexi said, your automatic thoughts is going to be the dress for yourself and then the present, right? But in reality, you have to pay for all kinds of stuff. And it does like suck, you know, and that's why I personally thought that I was trying to be as courteous as I possibly can. Now, we did go to Vegas, but I found a really good deal online for us to where it was only $300 each for flight and hotel. So, I mean, to go to Vegas for only $300, that was pretty awesome.
That's really good.
And us being girls, we didn't pay for any drinks when we were there. The only thing we paid for was the show that we went to, which was Magic Mike, obviously. And we also went to, like, all of our food we paid for, you know, but that's it. I mean, we didn't pay for any drinks. We didn't pay for any club entries, nothing. It was all just food and then the $300 for the flight and hotel. So that to me was really cheap for Vegas, but like we all agreed like we didn't want to go somewhere like near us because we had already been to all the places near us that same year, you know. So we had taken a trip to Austin before. We live in Dallas, so it was like, and we'd already been to New Orleans before. We had been to Florida before, so we were like,
I mean, everyone goes to Vegas. Like,
it does, yeah, but it's so fun.
It's that thing that you kind of have to do, though, is what I'm saying. Like, it's like the it's like the staple for celebrating your last night or whatever being single.
Yeah, well, it's like it's either Vegas or New Orleans are the top two, I think. But we had already been to New Orleans for one of my best friends' 21st birthday a couple years ago. So we had already been to New Orleans, and honestly, I didn't like New Orleans. Okay, I did not have fun. So I was like, let's go to Vegas. Like, let's go.
Have you ever been to Vegas?
I had not been before. No.
Oh, it's so great.
Oh God, it was amazing. It was so. Oh my God, highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. But yeah, we didn't pay for any drinks at all, like at all. So that's a whole separate story. We'll have a whole episode about bachelorette parties because that was insane. But yeah, only 3 of my bridesmaids came to my bachelorette party. All the rest of them just for different reasons. Some of it was financial reasons. One of my best friends had just gotten a promotion and like had started like that week, so she didn't want to ask off for the Friday, which is totally understandable.
Yeah, that's understandable.
It's all understandable. Yeah, I do wish that they all could have came, but again, 2 of them, you know, weren't even 21, so what would be the point of them going? And then the others had, you know, it was like a financial thing or a job thing for them, so it was fine. Like, it, you know, it made sense. So I wasn't like upset about it, like as I like could have been, I guess, but I definitely wanted all of them to be there. So it was just kind of like okay, well, I'm just gonna have fun with the 3 girls that did come, you know. So
yeah.
But it was really fun. Yeah, it was crazy. So that's the next one. So then we have don't be MIA. Okay, we just talked about how I went from 10 to 8, you know, during the engagement. And remember, I was only engaged for 10 months. So one of them, again, fight separate from the wedding, and we're not even friends anymore. But the other girl, I literally had to, like, kind of kick out because she didn't come to anything, you know?
Yeah.
And again, we had, like, 11 events. And, like, some of the events were smaller than others, you know? But, like, you have to try to go to every single thing. You have to. Since that experience, like, I did not have a single event where all of my bridesmaids attended. Not a single one. And, again, a lot of that was because of the distance, so I wasn't even mad, you know? But me, whenever I am a bridesmaids for some of my friends, I'm going to, try my absolute hardest to make it to every single thing because I know how it feels to not have everybody at all the stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Again, it was fine. It's not a big deal. Everyone lives so far away. I knew going into it that not everyone was going to be able to come to stuff.
I just thought of a good bride don't is if you have a pregnant bridesmaid or maid of honor to just be like aware and just kind of let her down, or not, I'm sorry, like I'm trying to think of the right words, but be
conscious of that.
Conscientious of that. Because if you have a pregnant bridesmaid, she can't like be bending down and lifting things and doing other things that everyone else can be doing. So I think it's also important just to be like easy on her.
Oh yeah, for sure. So the next one is do help out as much as you can, obviously, and that goes from, you know, the minute like someone gets engaged till the wedding day. So on my actual wedding day, I was freaking out because my venue didn't really allot for a whole lot of time to set up all the decorations.
So they've got to do all of that.
Yeah, and they had to do everything. So I was trying to get ready. And you know, I had like 2 of them get ready and then go help, and then the other whatever. But my bridesmaids, I mean, they did a phenomenal job getting that room like set up and all my decoration. We had like a dumb amount of decorations. I mean, it was like a truckload of decorations. And I was like, we shouldn't have this much. And I wasn't even like, I wasn't a bridezilla until the actual day. Then I turned into a bridezilla. And my bridesmaids can attest for that. Because I was like, I'm not ready. Like, I'm ugly. I'm sweating. Everybody get ready. Hurry up. Everybody get out. But there were like a million people in my dressing room, which that's a wedding fail, and we'll talk about wedding fails on another episode too. But having way too many people in your dressing room when I mean,
like moms,
good God.
aunts,
moms,
random friends.
Yeah, why are my mom's
gosh.
friends in here? And then it was like, you know, brothers, girlfriends, and like whatever. And I was like, oh my God, just everybody get out.
That's
I'm sweating.
crazy.
It was insane. So
But yeah,
I only wanted
the
my mom
bridesmaids.
and Ryan's mom and my bridesmaids and my grandma. That's the
Yeah.
only people I wanted in there. And there were so many people in there. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm sweating. It was terrible. So anyways, my bridesmaids did a great job setting up everything for me. And at one point I looked around and a couple of them were missing, and I was like, where are they? And they were like, they're setting everything up, like calm down. And I was like, oh, okay, great.
Because there's like a card table that they need to set up. There's a sign-in table, a gift table.
Yeah, just random decorations. And this is going to sound kind of cheesy, but Ryan and I had dated for 7 years before we got married, like to the day. So every year on our anniversary, I would make him a scrapbook. And so I wanted to put all the scrapbooks out, you know, too. So there was that. And like scrapbooks are big. So you have like 7 of them, and, you know, I mean, that's labor intensive.
Yeah.
You also have to put out everything on the tables, like all the name cards and like the table numbers and like I mean, just it's insane. So do provide emotional support is the next one. Obviously that's a pretty obvious one, I think, you know, emotional support for your bride, whether that be on the day or like the leading up to it, whatever. So that's the next one. And I lost the list.
I have a
here it is. Don't cause problems is the next one on mine. Okay, duh. Bridesmaid drama. Yeah, that's a thing. Bridesmaids fighting with people. Luckily for me, the one that was causing the issues was one of the ones that left. Yay me. Because she was also kind of trying to take over the role of maid of honor, you know? And she wasn't even, like, she was maybe 4th in line.
You think she was like upstaging you or upstaging the maid of honor? 'Cause I think that's a big don't. It's like trying to upstage the bride.
That is a big don't.
Like,
she wasn't trying to
making things kind of
upstage
about them.
me, no, but she like whenever I first finally asked everybody, she just kind of like started a group chat without me and started like taking over stuff, which
yeah.
on some level I appreciated, but on another level I was kind of like, who put you in charge
Like,
of all
you're
of
just
this,
kind of
you know?
just- yeah.
Yeah, I was like, okay, and it also, a big, huge don't for just friends before the bride asks is to assume that you're going to be in the wedding.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a huge no-no. It could be your best friend, but you don't know what her plans are. She might just want to have her sister and that's it, you know?
Yeah.
Or she might just want to have just her high school friend and her sister and that's it, you know? Don't assume that you're going to be asked because it's kind of rude, you know,
Yeah.
to be like, hey, so whenever you ask me, here's what I was thinking. It's just like,
Or like start pre-planning. Like my friends, as soon as someone gets engaged, like people will start throwing like parties for them, or like not like a bridal shower, but like, you know, like a tea party or just random things. And it's like, you don't even know if you're in the party. Like,
yeah, you don't even know. You're not even asked yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, none of my friends like did that. Like everyone I asked knew they were gonna get asked, but they didn't. They weren't pushy
But it's
about it.
still a
Except
nice
for
gesture.
one. Except for one, and it was that same one that wasn't even in the wedding at the end because, you know, we got into a fight or whatever. But yeah, she was just really like, she kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And I was like, dude, I'm not going to ask you because you live here. I want to ask my out-of-town people first so that they know that they're going to get asked. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, it's really rude to just automatically assume you're going to be asked and automatically assume you're going to be the maid of honor and automatically assume you're going to do all this stuff, because that just puts even more pressure on the bride, and she doesn't need any extra pressure because trust me, again, planning a wedding is stupid. It's so dumb how much time it takes. Honestly, I wish I had hired a wedding planner. I really do. I didn't because I thought I could handle it myself, you know. I'm a great planner. I'll do it myself. No, I wish I had spent the extra money and hired a wedding planner. I really do. So the next one is, it says don't change your look. So it says, like, if you're thinking about dyeing your hair, you know, don't do it.
that's a good one.
So it's a good one. I think, to me, I don't think it would have mattered.
Or at least
to me,
ask her beforehand, like, hey, I'm gonna dye my hair.
That's a little controlling to me.
I
It's
think
like,
Kim Kardashian got really mad at Kylie because she had teal blue hair at her wedding. And there's
Yeah,
like a
I mean,
video on the episode, and
who
she was like,
cares?
Kylie has blue hair at my
to me,
wedding.
that's a little controlling to me.
Maybe if your plan is a week before the ceremony to get that
Yeah.
sweet new neck tat maybe that can wait.
Yeah, if you're gonna get face tat, yeah, maybe it can wait an extra week. Yeah, for sure. But
Get that
for
next
like
teardrop
yeah,
lined
just
in.
one more.
I don't know.
yeah.
I would be mad if one of my friends had like red hair at my wedding, or like
I
blue
wouldn't. I
hair,
mean, I
or-
want everyone to, feel comfortable, which that kind of goes along with the like dress thing. Like instead of being like, this is the only dress you can get and only this color, just be a little flexible. The more flexible you are with your bridesmaids, the more responsive they're going to be to the details that you need to have perfect. I think it's like a give and take situation. So the next one is pay attention. Obviously, if I randomly say, God, Paris themed, showers or so, yesterday, and then one of the bridesmaids says, hey, let's throw a Paris shower. You know what I'm saying? That I feel like that
I heard her
matters.
mention it.
Yeah, I heard her mention it. I think she likes it. Pay attention to what the bride wants and what the bride likes. Because again, it's all about her. And
If she wants everyone to wear cowboy boots in the wedding, just wear the cowboy boots.
good God, yeah, you should though. Yeah, if that's what she wants. The next one is don't post pictures on her social media. Of her getting ready, I think is what it means.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's true. Yes, because the groomsmen might see it
Or
and be
tag
like,
her.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, or tag her. Yeah, I mean, you
Or
can
any
after.
pictures of the dress or anything.
Yes.
Don't
Oh my
put-
God.
don't
Like
put
videos,
that.
like dress shopping of like the bride in the dress. Yeah, that would
Yeah.
be terrible. The next one is throw an amazing party. Basically, just really pay attention to the details that you know that she's gonna want, and just make it a really special time for her with the showers and the bachelorette party. I think that one's important. I think that all the details and all the time and all the energy and all the planning should be involved in the things that are a little bit bigger for her. She can get into all the details with what the invitations look like and stuff like that. The bridesmaids don't necessarily need to plan what the invitations look like, because that'll be up to like the family and the bride.
Yeah.
You can have input, but the
They
things
could-
that you're
they could,
most
like, mail
responsible
them.
for, yeah, you can help mail them. But the things you're most responsible for are like the parties and the showers and things like that. So if you're gonna really take the reins of anything, it needs to be those things. I think those should be priority number one, because all the details the friends can help, like the friends, the parents, and everybody can help out with. But
I think another surprise you could do for the bride is like give her a Snapchat filter or a hashtag. Like as a wedding gift, be like, hey, like if you on Snapchat, if you look up this,
That's
like
fun.
in the area, it'll be like Jane and Joe's wedding
Yep.
with the little flowers.
One of my
and things on the
bridesmaids
side.
did that. She
That'd
bought
be
us
a nice like gift
Yep.
kind of.
I
or
loved
surprise.
it. I was so happy when one of mine did that.
Yeah.
It says, don't complain to the other bridesmaids. That's true. Don't be talking shit about the bride. They're gonna be crazy. Okay, the bride is
come
going to
around.
be crazy, and you're gonna be crazy too when you get married. So
Yeah.
whatever. The next one is expect a gift. So the bride is responsible for buying all the bridesmaids a gift at the end, or during or whatever. So, for all your hard work, like it'll pay off with a nice gift, and it'll pay off with all the fun that you have too. It also says don't get drunk. I mean, you can get drunk, I think.
I just
at,
say
at the wedding and at
don't
the
get
bachelorette
completely wasted to where you have to be carried out. It's so
party. Yeah. If anyone's getting carried out
embarrassing.
at the bachelorette party, it's the bride.
Yeah, it's so embarrassing to see, like, especially the bride, but to see one of the girls, like, in the back in the bridal room, and she's just completely hammered, and it's
Yeah.
like, are you going to miss the exit? Because there's always an exit at the end, and that's one important thing is whenever there's an exit, like a sparkler exit or bubbles or whatever, most of the guests have gone home, and so it's important for the bridal party to at least be there for the photos.
Yeah, don't leave early.
Yeah, so
do
don't
not
leave early, especially if you're a
guests,
bridesmaid.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of guests who like are kind of going because they feel like they have to go, but they don't really want to, because that happens. Like random family members and like your parents' friends, they're just there for your mom. They're not even there for you. You know what I mean? That's normal. That's fine. They're gonna leave. So by the time like the exit comes around and your bride has been really enjoying her day and she just wants to soak in every single minute and be there for the whole night and not ever leave, it's really important for the wedding party
And
to
don't
be
just
at
be
the
drunk,
exit.
like,
Yeah.
or just
I
leave
think that,
early.
Though, every bride is different. Like I know that one of my friends, like she's told me before, like I want everyone to be hammered at my wedding. It's going to be like a party. So that's fine. I think for you need to know your
just
bride
know
and know
her
your situation.
expectations.
Yeah.
I think that's the key is her expectations.
Right. That's the key to all of this, really. Just really know your bride's expectations. For the groomsmen, really know your groom's expectations. I don't think that the groomsmen have nearly as much responsibility as the bridesmaids, because the grooms don't really do a whole lot. They do a bachelor party, they do the rehearsal, and then they do the wedding.
I think
and
the
that's pretty
guys,
much it.
the guys need to keep in mind though, like not to invite a +1 without letting the groom know.
Yeah, that's true.
Or same with girls too, because
Yeah.
you don't want to be like just like having your girlfriend of 3 months come or something. It's just kind of, I don't know why. There's this stigma where if you're married or in a long-term relationship, of course the invitation is probably for both of you.
Right.
But if you're just bringing your Tinder date, it's different.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I actually, like, 2 of my bridesmaids were like, do you want us to bring dates? Do you not? And I was like, truthfully, I don't want you to bring a date. I was like, because I need y'all to be focused on me, and neither one of y'all are in relationships. You know what I mean? I was like, so don't bring a date. Like, I'm gonna be nervous and scared and freaked out. Now I told them, obviously, if there's someone that like they're serious about, they can bring them. Duh, you know what I mean? But 2 of my friends specifically were like, hey, like, we don't really have dates. We have these friends we could bring. Do you want us to? Like, be honest. And I was like, no, I don't, because it also messes up the seating chart too, because like a lot of times you'll have like a big long table with all the bridesmaids on one side, groomsmen on the other side, and then bride and groom at the front. At least that's what we did for our wedding.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes the seating chart will be different, but if the seating chart has all the bridesmaids together and all the groomsmen together, it's even awkward for the date, because they're like,
The
I don't
date
know
has
anyone
to bring
here.
in a chair sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know
That's
anyone
just
here.
kinda weird.
I am just kind of sitting here alone. I can't even be with my date because
And they're not in
doing a thing.
uniform. Everyone's in the same blue suit and
Yeah.
the same pink dress, and then there's
Exactly.
this guy in khakis.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, if you're in the wedding party, bringing a date is definitely something you want to kind of clarify with the bride or the groom. Again, if you're in a long-term relationship, obviously that's fine. But just to try to look for a date, you might not want to do that because you're going to have lots of responsibilities on the actual day. So it would just take away from your time with your date anyways.
yeah. Another don't for groomsmen is propose to your girlfriend at the wedding. I think that's very
So
tacky
true.
and trashy. You know, it just depends on the type of person you are and the relationship that you have with the groom. If you go beforehand and go to the bride and groom and say, hey, I want to propose to my girlfriend at your wedding, and stop
like,
it and have
no.
the DJ like stop the music and do music for me, and we do this thing.
This
If
wedding
they're-
just really inspired me. I've never felt so much love.
Yeah, like if the bride and groom
What?
are like all about it and like, oh my god, yes, that's awesome, like let's do it, then do it. But I think if you don't say anything and you propose at the ceremony or propose at the reception,
my God.
oh, it's so tacky.
I saw a meme
Don't
about that.
do it.
I saw a meme about it, and it was like, if you get engaged at my wedding, I will literally have a baby at your baby shower and die at your funeral. I was like, that is so me. I would die at someone's funeral on purpose just to prove a point.
I will commit
Like, I'm
a
serious.
suicide.
I will commit a suicide. If somebody, yeah, I'm so glad that didn't happen. I would have been so mad.
Yeah,
Ugh.
it's just, I think it's a social etiquette rule that, you know, and it's sad to say, but most guys don't have the same kind of social etiquette that women do, and I think that's just something they don't think about. Sorry, Ziggy.
This is news to Ziggy.
Yeah, it's tacky, and I'm honestly like afraid it might happen to me at my wedding. Like, of just some guy like proposing at the reception, and then everyone looking at them, and I'm like, it's about me.
I would have a conniption. I would spontaneously combust, I think. I'm so glad it didn't happen to me, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure everyone that came to my wedding knew me well enough to not pull that shit.
Oh, same with
So
like,
I was like, no.
I think any surprises that you're not sure if they would like, just don't do. Like a flash mob. If you don't know if the bride and groom might like
Start
that,
pushing everybody.
Right, but you have like all the bridesmaids and all the groomsmen decide to do this like special dance at the reception, and it's this weird tacky thing to "Marry You" by Bruno Mars. Don't do
No.
it. Like,
Oh my
don't
God.
do it. Like, it's just,
Don't even play that song at your wedding, honestly.
don't do surprises like that. Because
It's
it's just,
terrible.
honestly, it's kind of embarrassing. And if I'm recording the wedding, I'm going to get it. Like, I'm going to record it.
To be honest with you, I didn't have, like, I had a great, like, bridesmaid experience. Again, the only thing that sucked was the distance between me and all of them, or all of them and I. But I didn't, like, I still had a really great group of girls that, you know, did pretty much everything for me. It was awesome. Like, again, my sister is kind of the exception. But yeah, she was 18, and then I had Ryan's sister a part of it too, and she was 17. So they didn't really know what was going on, but they were still there for all the stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that worked out really well for me personally. But definitely keep that in mind when you're picking a maid of honor. My sister did tell me though, she was like, if I'm not your maid of honor, you're not even invited to my wedding. I was like,
Do you know what being a
okay.
maid of honor entails? Like,
Right.
what
she
you'll
had-
have to do.
She just wanted the title. She wanted the title and no responsibility.
That's like every millennial. Just kidding.
Kids these days.
Oh,
Yeah.
damn millennials.
Ziggy,
Yeah.
do you have any stories or like anything you wanted to chime in?
if your wedding has an open bar and you don't need someone to video the reception, I will video your wedding.
There you go.
There's that. No, not really. I'm always busy, and so I don't necessarily get out to weddings that much. And my best friend from college, when he got married, I was already living back here, so I wasn't able to go and do all the groomsmen stuff that you would normally do. And so I was the first person to RSVP to his wedding because I was gonna make sure that I was gonna go to that.
Yeah.
But I did have a friend recently, like within the last 2 years, get engaged, and for a while I ghosted him so that he would not ask me to be his best man because I was so worried about that in the moment.
It's okay to say no.
Yeah.
It's okay to say no. That's a lot of responsibility to put on somebody. Like, it really is. That's why you get asked. You don't get told, you know. It's because the brides and the grooms realize that there's a level of financial responsibility that comes with it. The groomsmen have to buy or rent their tuxes, but that's still a couple $100, you know.
That is a lot of fabric for me, guys.
Yeah, it is. That's a lot of outfit going on, you know. But even the groomsmen don't even pick their suits. I mean, I picked out Ryan's and all the groomsmen's.
You picked out their suits?
Yeah, I did because I wanted to make sure
they have
it
like
looked
ties
good.
or bow ties or like the little napkin thing?
I picked all of it. All of it, because I guess like there are two different types of white for wedding dresses. There's like ivory and then
there's
something
like
else.
there's blush, there's cream, ivory. You can have a
whatever
pink tone.
So, but you think like
I've
it's
looked
just
into
white.
it.
And so whenever we went shopping for Ryan's suit, I was like, I want Ryan's to be very classic, just black and white, and then I want the groomsmen's to have their tie the same color as the bridesmaids. So that's what I wanted. And the lady was like, well, what kind of white do you want? I was like, what do you mean? Like eggshell, smoker's teeth? Like, what do you mean?
There's white, there's dark white.
She was like, yeah, do you mean like my skin color? Do you mean like what kind of white? And she's like, oh, well, there's all different kinds of white. So I was like, oh my God, I don't even know what color my dress is. She was like, oh, you want it to match the dress because from afar it looks the same, but when you're standing next to each other for pictures, you'll be able to tell. And I was like, that's really good to know. So I had to call the wedding dress place and be like, hey, what color is my dress?
And what if they're like,
it was ivory.
It's white.
Yeah, right. No kidding. I was like,
but what kind of white?
It was ivory. So I was like, well, it's a good thing. Yeah, I was like, it's a good thing I asked because, you know, I had picked like the other white, I guess, originally. So I had to go change it for the suits. I was like, oh, it has to be ivory. Sorry, super awkward. I didn't know there were different kinds of whites. I thought it was just white.
One thing I like about bridesmaid dresses now I've seen is they'll have different dresses, like kind of how yours were, but they'll also be different colors, but it'll be the same like palette. So it'll be like blue, green, pink, and like gray.
Oh, that's pretty.
But it's all like the same tone,
like either pastel or bright. Yeah, those
and
look
it looks
really
so good.
Yeah, those do look
that
really
way they're
good.
not so uniform and so like bridesmaidy, but it'll be like one is like a shoulder one is like a cross, one is a halter. But they'll like, I remember one time this girl had, it was during winter time, and it was like a forest green, a dark red, a navy blue, and a gold. So they were all like deep, rich colors, and they were all different like styles, but you could tell they were all bridesmaids because they just like they went together. It was the same like color tone, and so it was so pretty.
Yeah, that is pretty.
Yeah, I kind of like those, I like those themes for
I've seen the pastel thing several times, like a really light pink and a really light blue, really light green. Those look really good too.
What do you think about having all the bridesmaids wear like an off-white or like a white?
No.
No?
I'm the only one wearing white at my wedding, okay? The only one. In fact,
she even got mad that the little girl, the flower girl, was in white.
She was not a flower girl. That's the thing. She was a
she
cousin of mine who, I don't even know how old she is. I don't
She was
even
just
know.
like a random little girl in
a
white.
random cousin that I don't talk to. I don't talk to that side of the family at all. And she was wearing white, and I was like, girl, that's a parenting issue. So I was like, excuse me. So I actually had two people wearing white at my wedding. Okay, I had that little girl, and then I had another little girl who was like 18, and she was also a family member. I don't really know what she technically is to me though, but she was also some sort of family member, and she was wearing white too. And I was like,
oh my gosh, she was really trying to push her buttons.
I was like, please, you obviously don't know me at all, okay? Because no, do not wear white.
You know what
even
I think
those
is
bridesmaid
worse?
dresses that have like a white top and like a different color bottom. I don't even like that. Like,
I think what's worse than wearing white is wearing something very distasteful, like a lot of cleavage or like your butt hanging out.
Oh yeah.
I have seen that.
Hey, let's
so
not
many
be
times.
too hasty.
For the single guy guest, it's probably fine.
I'm not like slut shaming, but like there's a time and a place.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
It's so not classy when people are just wearing like a romper where their butt and their like boobs are all hanging out.
Especially if it's like obviously a formal thing. Like some weddings won't be as formal than others. I feel like mine was pretty formal. Don't you agree? Mine was pretty formal.
Yours was very formal.
And then like I've been to one where everyone's wearing like short sundresses and cowboy boots and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's the only other wedding I've been to was like that, and then mine. So I've seen two very different ends of the spectrum. But yeah, I mean, if you know, I mean, it tells you on the invitation what the attire is going to be, you know? So if you know that it's formal attire and you show up in something like that, that's rude.
That's kind of like going off on not even bridesmaids anymore, but we'll talk about wedding etiquette in another episode. But
absolutely.
That's something
as far as bridesmaids, oh yeah, I've seen that a lot. As far as bridesmaids go, there's lots of different do's and don'ts. I think the number one thing is just be respectful, be courteous, and know what you're getting yourself into before you go for it, because again, lots of financial responsibility there, lots of time commitment there. So as long as you know those things, you know, I'm sure everyone will do fine. Like I said, I was the first one, and all my friends did great. So and I don't think they had ever been in weddings before.
Be upfront with your bride or your friend that's getting married. Let her know if you can make that commitment. Don't get too drunk or too wasted to where you can't even make the send off. Or at least be open about that. If she really wants you to get too drunk, then you know, do whatever she wants to do. I guess just do what she wants to do. And if you're gonna make a speech, don't make it too long, because that's just sometimes. Oh my gosh!
Also,
like,
rehearse a speech. Rehearse a speech. Make sure you
have
a speech.
That's a good thing to
so
say.
My brother-in-law was the best man. Obviously, he did such a great speech. I mean, his speech was obviously thought out. You know, it was obviously written and rehearsed and practiced. My little sister's speech just winged it. Yeah, and it was terrible.
It good? Oh,
you were there. You
well,
don't remember?
I don't
Thank
remember
God. Thank God you don't remember, because that was definitely the worst part of the wedding. Her speech was terrible. And then my other bridesmaid, hers was okay.
Just roast your sister.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, Ash. But, you know, I tell her this stuff to her face, so it's fine. But definitely rehearse your speech if you have one. I had my maid of honor, best man, and then one bridesmaid and one groomsman. So we had 4 speeches. And, you know, the guys definitely, I think, did a better job than the girls.
If they start off the speech with, all right, I don't really have anything prepared, but
then go just cut them off there.
I love you guys, and then I'm just like, oh boy, here we go.
Here
we go.
So rehearse your speech if you have one. Make sure it's polished and nice. You don't want to, you know, ruin the one time you have for like a spotlight and ruin the whole day, because I was not happy. Either way, that's our advice to any future bridesmaids or groomsmen out there. And obviously, I'm going to take this advice with me too whenever I become a bridesmaid for somebody. If I do, it's fine. So anyways, on the next episode of the Millennial Monologues podcast, we're going to talk about jobs. We're going to talk about first jobs, weird jobs that are out there. There are definitely some weird jobs. Like there's like a chicken nugget taster. That's an actual job.
There's an armpit smeller. That's a real job.
That's a real job.
I have the worst job ever.
Don't say it.
Don't say it.
Don't say it.
Yeah.
Wait, your job
I have
with
a bunch.
us?
No, I have a bunch of like really bad
Your job
jobs
right now, working with us.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's gonna be fun.
we're
So
going to
we're
talk
gonna be
about some
talking about-
actual job openings for weird jobs that are out there right now that you could apply for.
And also advice for you guys, job do's and don'ts. What to do on the job, what not to say, ways that will definitely get you fired. You know, just those typical
If you're looking for
things.
severance, get fired on purpose. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Okay, so all of that is coming up next week on the Millennial Monologues podcast, and you can watch us on your own time, anytime. On YouTube, Facebook, or SoundCloud, or our very own website, www.themillennialmonologues.com.
Thanks, guys, for watching. You can watch us every Tuesday, 7 to 8 p.m. online on Facebook and live. Oh, and On Air Media is live, too.
And I don't know if the audience knew this, but all of the songs today have been songs that are banned from people's wedding receptions, or songs you shouldn't play at weddings. And we have a little bit of bleed over this week, guys, with a list that we had last week. So I am going to end on one of those songs. So here we go.
I'm afraid.
Wait.
I hate him. This is so bad. We should have talked about terrible songs.
This is going to be played at my wedding. No, what if this was the walkout song for all the bridesmaids and the groomsmen? Oh man, it's so bad.
I would commit a suicide.
I have to pee so bad. Like this whole time, I've just.
Is there a
been,
song
like,
about having to pee during the
I
wedding?
don't know, but this whole time I've been like on edge.
Banned forever.
Oh yeah. My Britney.